Hello and welcome to What's Map for Cities Skylines, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. There are thousands of items on the workshop now, so finding the right one for your next city build is a huge task. So each day, Monday to Saturday, we'll review some using our 5-star rating and the coveted seal of approval. So join me, fellow Skylines explorers, as we venture out to today's new land. Who am I? I'm BonBonB, and you are very, very welcome.
Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. BonBon here, how are you doing? Right, it's Wednesday, and Wednesday we quite often go to the top of the charts and have a look at what's around. Today we're having a look at the top of the charts from this time last week. In fact, this was going to be Monday's map from last week, being as it was number 1 at the time. Unfortunately, having subscribed to it, it wasn't showing up in the content manager, and I figured this was something to do with the DLC problems. So I gave it a couple of days, I gave it a couple more days, then I contacted the creator and they fixed it, well, basically immediately. I don't know what more you can ask from a creator. So anyway, thank you very much for that. Today's map is Vale official DLC launch party map by Esley. From now on to the end of time, it's going to be called Vale. Okay, I hope we're happy with that name change. There's your start square. There is no start square intersection, but it's not a big problem to put one in. Still nice to have one though. Resources look very vanilla-ish. In fact, the whole map has a vanilla-ish vibe to it, although it's not strictly vanilla. No DLC required, although it's nice to take advantage of the DLC. There are a few trees, not many, Bonita Vista Valley LUT and Springwood theme. There is a one-click collection, and Esley is a twitcher, which I always thought was an ornithologist. But what do I know? I'm an old man after all. Anyway, let's have a look down here. Now, like I say, the map has a Carnador feel to it. The map looks very vanilla-ish and very playable. And those are two themes that basically Carnador, who's kind of like the king of the vanilla map, although he will probably go into a fight with Mr. Miyagi to lay claim to that title. That I'd love to see. I'd love to see some sort of Dungeons and Dragons fight-off between Carnador and Miyagi. Ooh, what a fight that would be. Anyway, no, I digress. Roads, absolutely fine, absolutely plumb. Mind you, the land is plumb flat, so you'd kind of expect any decent map maker to be able to do perfectly fine roads. First problem we come across is here. Got blue mantle showing on, that's nodes too close to nodes being put underneath. Unfortunate and avoidable, but there we are, never mind. Intersection, this is basically it. There is one here, and it links across to one over this side as well. If anything, this could be the biggest problem for the map, that these two intersections being so close together, everything going from north to south and south to north has to go through this little section here. I would not place a intersection for a start square between these two. I would work on the two main highways and avoid that link highway completely if I were you playing that game. But, as maps go, I mean, my map does exactly that, Merrickstowe. I've got exactly the same issue, and I've put the start square there. So, this is better than my map. Automatically saying that straight off, because although I did give a start square intersection, it was actually in probably the wrong place. Damn it. Damn it. We all learn. We all learn. That was my first map. So hopefully I'm going to be better next time. Anyway, perfect little bridge there. And then over here we've got another rail over road, and yes, we've got more blue mantle shining through. A little bit disappointing, but we are starting to get into the fog now, so I guess we can turn a little bit of a blind eye to that bit. So let's have a look at the rail instead. Right, so the rail looks pretty reasonable. It's flat most of the way, so it shouldn't be too bad, I wouldn't have thought. Yes, we have got the mantle showing through by the red bridges. We have done that. I'm not going to double jeopardy and mark it down twice. The slopes up to the bridges could be tapered in just a slightly more, but still not bad. I like the way we've got a cutting here and an embankment here. But here, actually, here we're going over a bit of a hill. Right there, nice. I'd like to have seen that worked into the hill just slightly. In fact, let's use move it, shall we? Shall we do a little bit of work? We don't often do this. I do enjoy having a little bit of tinker with other people's maps. This isn't going to be perfect, by the way, guys. This is literally a quick job, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And yes, it can be fine-tuned, but yeah, this is all I'm talking about here. So right, so if we come back and have a look now at the same stretch of rail, and it's much smoother. It's still not perfect. I still would do a little bit more work to it, and the tapering down, especially here, yeah, it needs a little bit of work down there as well. It was me just doing it, like I say, it's a little bit of work for the video, nothing more than that. And to be honest with you, as problems go, it's not really a problem, is it? It doesn't affect the gameplay, and to be honest with you, 95% of people would accept that as being, that's perfectly right. What are you talking about, BonBon? It's only because I've seen so many maps now that I've got things that I look out for, and that'd be one of them. This bridge, because there's no nodes underneath, everything's fine. There's no mantle being forced, and it's a very nice rail over road bridge. Although, once again, just like to see this tapered out a little bit more coming down here, just a little bit smoother. In fact, there's a bridge over here as well where it comes back up. How about if the whole stretch of that rail was an embankment? Just a thought. I mean, not essential, but it's just a thought. Just an idea. Right, anyway, then we come down from there and we'll just track across the plains, going this way, and then take a little left and go that way. And then we're going to cut through to a separate part of the map. It comes through here, and we go between the hills, and there's a separate valley where we use a separate build plane. And for me, this is part of what makes the map. The way it's separated out, and you've got a whole different build area. But we'll look at that in a little bit more detail after the asset theme review break that we always have. And when do we have that? Well, we have that when the rail starts entering the fog. And I can see the fog up ahead, and I can see that we're on the rail. And therefore, I think we could probably go for an asset review break. What do you reckon? I laboured that somewhat, didn't I? I laboured that on thick. Anyway, today's asset is by the highly talented DARF, and it's Insurance Library Association. Now, I'm not exactly sure what an Insurance Library Association is. But that said, I don't really care enough to go to Google and find out. It's a commercial building, clearly a commercial building, and I like the look of it, and I could use this, so therefore I like it. And that's all that really matters. And even if it turns out to be an insurance broker or something, you don't really have to use it as that. In fact, your city won't even care. You'll get donuts delivered to it on a daily basis. Who cares? Who cares a dot? All I know, DARF, you've done it again. Insurance Library Association, lovely little white stone building by DARF. Brilliant stuff. Let's go over to Themington Island, shall we? My timing is right out today. Anyway, this week we are looking at Northern Tip by Nuelio with the Tubot Winter LUT. It's quite sharp and clear and cold and crisp. And factoids time. Right, I'm going to do two, but one I'm only going to reveal at the end of the show because I think these are so generic. These are worth hanging on to, right? First of all, here's one to get you started. Walt Disney, Edward III, King Edward III, of course, and Mickey Rooney were all at one time bankrupt. Now, three more people now, and I want you to try and guess what they've got in common by the end of the show, if you can be bothered. General Custer, Princess Grace of Monaco, and Winston Churchill. General Custer, Princess Grace of Monaco, and Winston Churchill. I won't give you don't worry about commenting down below because you can cheat and look clever or whatever, and there's no prizes involved. Just basically answer at the end of the show. So there we are. Shipping routes. We've got one that goes the entire length of the coast, comes into a little point there, and then goes out this way. Now, the only problem for me with these points are when you get something like this, all the shipping has to follow it all the way in. And then, even if it's not coming into dock, it then has to slow right down, do a turn, and it can cause a little bit of a blockage by that. I would like to see a more direct, curved route lined up for shipping that doesn't want to go into the docks itself. Water flow. There is one river, and the water is flowing down the river, which is a good thing, clearly a good thing. If we nip right the way down, here's a water flow here, and we get to the outflow here. If you have a look, the water is flowing back in. Ooh. So basically, in the middle here, where it's completely still, there's water flowing in both directions towards it. You could see it's flowing this way here. So very roughly in this area here, we'll pull back and have a quick look, could be a sewage trap. Now, unless you play the game and play test it, you can't say for sure. And a lot of you will be using custom assets, blah de blah de blah. But for me, I just got to point that out. It could be possibly a sewage trap. Right, okay. Large build plane. Large build plane. Lots of places to build. Lots of fun to be had. We've got these sandbars here. I think possibly airport. Reclaim some land. Build an airport out at sea. Love that idea. Get on and do it. Come on, guys. Do you know you want to? And then we've got the second build plane in the valley that I pointed out previously. Loads of room out here to build as well. And then the hills. Well, you're not really doing much building in the hills, although you can get into them. They are a bit lumpy bumpy, but then some hills are lumpy bumpy. It's where I come from, they're quite smooth. But nothing wrong with a lumpy bumpy hill. And then up here, yes. Now the trees on these hills, there's nothing wrong with them. There's also nothing incredibly right with them. They're good, but they don't sell themselves to me as tapering into the cracks where the water could flow, or having more in flatter areas, or all those sort of things. But I do like the mixture of trees that's been given to us, and I think overall I like the trees more than I dislike the trees. And there are patches like this. I love this down here. There are patches like this which are outstanding. So all told, I do like the trees, but I think there's room for an improvement to make the whole thing look sharper. But of course, there's many hours spent with the trees. I mean, you're talking 250,000 trees. Placing each one by hand is a bit of a chore. Of course, there's one place where there's no trees at all. I quite like the idea that this sanded area doesn't actually have, and what trees are in there is sort of like a sparse or small, brilliant work there too. So anyway, that concludes that. Aesthetically, I think overall I like it. I think it's definitely got to be worth more than 3 stars. Can't give it a 5th star, but it's a very strong 4 stars. Detailing, on the whole, pretty damned good. A couple of things to grumble about. Nothing outstanding about it that makes you want to even consider a 5th star. But I think it's still worth a very good 4 stars. Gameplay potential, actually, I want to give this the 5th star, but I have question marks on the sewage trap in the river. It probably isn't a problem at all, but because there's a doubt, I'm giving it 4 stars rather than 5 for gameplay. Hill Vale official DLC launch party map, hereby known as Hill Vale by Esley. That is today's map, and for the first time in over a week, yes, the BonBonB seal of approval. I miss giving that, it's about time we did. Right, well, thanks for watching, commenting, liking and subscribing. Don't forget to join me tonight at 6 PM for Far Lone Sails, the little Let's Play post-apocalyptic steampunk adventure game that I'm having a go at. It's quite good fun, actually. Very, very gentle game. I do like a gentle game. And I have news regarding 2 new shows starting this weekend. Only monthly, don't get too excited, not every week, but you're going to like them. Anyway, more news on that later in the week. Thanks for watching. See you very, very soon.